Good morning and welcome to Gone Fishing on the 5 Reasons Sports YouTube channel. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe here. 5 Reasons Sports doing all of the best work in South Florida sports media, tracking the Dolphins and their historic run so far. The Miami Heat, their pursuit of Dame, training camp opening up in a week and a half or so. The Miami Hurricanes off to a 4-0 start, ranked inside the top 25. The Miami Marlins, 81-75 here. 6 games over 500. They had a 3-3 week this last week. Only 1 game back of the wild card with 6 to go. Things are tightening up, and I want to get into it right away. Firstly, with the players of the week, I'm going to give it up for Jorge Soler, who has been a man on a mission since he's come back, hitting .417 with .517 on base, .583 slugging for an 1101 OPS. Braxton Garrett, can't say enough about him in September and down the stretch. 6 innings, no earned runs, 7 strikeouts. Just a fantastic start for him. He's been really, really, really good for the Miami Marlins of late. Over his last 10 starts, he's pitched to a 2.10 ERA. And really, I do want to just touch on this. The team being at 15-6 in September, they are 1 game back, and the job's not finished yet. But I do want to just, I want to just take a minute to kind of sit here and be in awe a little bit of what they've done over the course of September. Because I think if we all look back and we remember, there was a point in time where, you had series against the Dodgers, the Brewers, the Braves, the Phillies, and that was your, that was the gauntlet that you had to go through. And the Marlins handled that. But before that, right before that stretch of series, you hear Jorge Soler went down, Sandy went down. Okay, not a problem. Marlins survive in advance there. Then you have this series. Then you lose 2 out of 3 to the Mets. You figure, okay, well, they're running out of gas here. Yuri Perez goes down, SL joint sprain. Marlins win 2 out of 3 against the Brewers, despite losing 16-0 in one of the most flatly demoralizing performances I could think of as a Marlins fan. I mean, this was a series that everyone was getting up for. It was a weekend series at the ballpark, Friday night. You're thinking, all right, this is their chance to really stamp themselves into this playoff race. And then they get drubbed 16-1. I apologize, not 16-0. And then they come back Saturday night. They win in close fashion yet again. The Marlins' late inning magic comes through. They score on the wild pitch in the 8th inning. Tanner Scott shuts the door. They win 5-4. And then yesterday, all the bats come out. They only score 6 runs, but they do it with 17 hits. Josh Bell wakes up a little bit. Jake Berger's been fantastic. Jazz has been great. Soler's been great. Xavier Edwards gets 3 hits in place of Luis Arraez, who hurt himself Saturday night slipping on the dugout stairs because it was dark in the stadium for Tanner Scott's entrance. It's stuff you really can't make up with this team right now. They were out pretty much the entire second half. This has been, they've just had to pull this together with tape and scotch tape and string and paper clips, and I don't know how they've done it, how they've stuck in the race here, but they're here, and they've got 6 games against teams that are below 500. 3 at the Mets, 3 at the Pirates. They've been bad against the Mets this year. The Mets have had their number. The Mets are 6-3 against the Marlins this year. Marlins have played 4 games against the Pirates. They're 3-1 this year. Marlins are 1 game behind the Cubs. The Cubs, their schedule significantly tougher the rest of the way out. They have a 3-game set at Atlanta, and then a 3-game set at Milwaukee. The good thing about this for the Marlins is that the Marlins do own the tiebreaker over the Cubs. The Marlins have won the season series against the Cubs. They own the tiebreaker. If the Marlins go 4-2, the Cubs go 3-3. The Marlins are in the postseason at 85-77. Now, what do I think the ceiling is for the team if they get in? Admittedly, not very high. And I hate to do that, right? Because I feel like this team is has defied all odds all year long. Especially more so really in September when I think everybody just kind of, there was this thought at the end of August that um yeah, this is just that point in the Marlins season where it just fades away and it drifts off, and they fall back in the standings towards irrelevancy. And they have not done that. They've not gone quietly into the night, even despite injuries to some of their best players. Um, and you've got to give a lot of credit to the players that are in that clubhouse right now. You got to give a lot of credit to Skip. Um, this team just doesn't quit, and I think that that's the best testament um, that you can have for this team right now, whether they get in or not. Now, if they do get in, I assume you're looking at a rotation of Luzardo, Garrett, and Cabrera, which, quite frankly, compared to what we thought the top three in a playoff rotation for this Miami Marlins team could be, is not, maybe not what you were hoping as a Marlins fan. But I think just to get in and of itself, symbolically, it would show that things are moving in the right direction. And you competitors always want to compete, always. So whether you think that they would get smoked in a wild card game, whether you think that they would get smoked in a division series, competitors want to compete. This is valuable experience for some of the guys on your roster. We don't know what Yuri Perez's situation is or would be come playoff time. He was retroactive to September 21st on the 15-day IL. So I don't know if that would mean if they would somehow get to a division series, if he would even be available. I'm sure it's way too far ahead to even think about that, considering that they have two series still to go here. And the bats have been good. You know, it's been a little inconsistent. They've had games where they've just been completely shut down, and then they've had others where the the hits just keep coming and the faucet just doesn't turn off for the offense. So hopefully they're going to be able to kind of concentrate that, get a little bit more consistency out of that. This series against the Mets, it's not going to be an easy one. They've got to see a lot of the guys that they saw in the last series against the Mets. They've got to see Senga again. They've got to see Lucchesi, and they're going to see David Peterson. The Marlins will be sending out at least Garrett and Luzardo, probably a bullpen day sandwiched in between there, versus the Mets. And that's where ultimately it's a little, you hate to be in a position where you have to use those bullpen games, especially with where you are in the season right now, and how every game matters. But I can't. Maybe you can insert Johnny Cueto back into the rotation, but at this point, I'm not sure I would fault Skip and company for saying that a bullpen game gives them a better chance to win than a Cueto start, because honestly, there's really not much difference there, if you ask me. So I completely understand that. You hope Arise is good. Apparently, there's some people that saw him after the game on Saturday, didn't look great with his mobility, but I know that the guy is a warrior. If he can play, he will play. So we'll see how that plays out against the Mets here. But the other thing that I want to talk about is, and again, I don't want to get too far out in front, with transaction talk, with anything like that. But I do want to touch on the move to claim Matt Moore off of waivers. I know that he's not going to be playoff eligible, but Matt Moore is a quality reliever, and I think it's a sneaky, brilliant move by the Marlins front office. You're essentially going out and getting a guy. You're basically signing a free agent in the season that you can use towards 2024, and he will be a valuable piece in the 2024 bullpen. I don't know if I hope the bullpen holds up for the remainder of 2023, and certainly Matt Moore will help with that. But I think that his biggest contributions to this Marlins team will likely be in 2024 and beyond for more. But I do like him as an addition to the bullpen. Just in general here, so looking at the Marlins schedule over the last six, it's 3 against the Mets, 3 against the Pirates, 3-6 versus the Mets, 3-1 versus the Pirates. 4-2 is the goal. I think if the Marlins get to 85 wins and they miss out, it'll be because the Cubs also went to Atlanta, went to Milwaukee, and went 4-2. And if that's what happens, then I think the Marlins tip their cap to the Cubs. Great season. Nothing you can do about that. No reason to hold your head down or be ashamed of it or anything like that. But I do think I would like to see this Marlins team in the playoffs because number one, it's one of those things. Baseball is, especially when you get into the postseason, possibly the most anything can happen random sport there is. Teams get hot all the time. They get in, they get hot, and whatever happens. And the Marlins have hot bats right now. They have Jake Berger, they have Jorge Soler, they have Jazz Chisholm, they have Josh Bell, who had 3 hits the other day. So the Marlins, they have John Birdie, who hit 2 out on Sunday. They have Garrett Hampson, who's been very good since being called up. So I say all this to say 6 games left, 1 game back in the wild card. What more could you be asking for, especially when you consider the circumstances right now? Quite frankly, I think that they're kind of playing with house money. You want to get into the playoffs if you can. Absolutely. Do I think that they would make a lot of noise in the playoffs? Candidly, no, just because of the injury situations. But I think that just the experience and getting that good taste in your mouth of getting there will be so pivotal for this team and so pivotal for Skip as a manager and his staff in his first year, kind of getting his feet wet in a way that with actual success and with a roster that I think the front office will concede and admit isn't complete yet. I don't know if this was ever the year that they were like, well, this is the year that we're really going for it. I think that this was the start of that. I think this was the first year of what they saw as a competitive window. And that usually that first year of getting into that competitive window is making the postseason. And then the following years, it's getting better. It's getting deeper into the postseason and eventually winning a World Series title. So I do think that as a start and as a, hey, we're opening up a postseason window for this team, this is generally speaking going to be the core. We will make some crucial additions in the offseason to continue to get better. But this is the bones of a playoff team. We like the leadership we have. We like the core players that we have. Now, granted, it seems like next year there's going to be a Sandy-shaped hole in the rotation, and that's going to be something that they're going to have to deal with. But that's 2024's problem at the moment. What I'm concerned about right now is the 2023 Marlins getting into the postseason, getting that experience for them, getting that experience for some of the young players. I'd love to see Luzardo in a playoff environment. I'd love to see Edward Cabrera in a playoff environment. He's been great in the month of September, pitching to a 193 ERA since he's come back. I just think it would be invaluable for this team to get there, get the good taste in your mouth. Maybe this team is young enough to really not know, to be so naive that they don't know what they don't know. Go win a series or two in the postseason. I mean, that would just be icing on the cake. Where they are right now is really kind of playing with house money. When you consider that Sandy went down early September, when you consider Soler went down for most of September, Jesus Luzardo has kind of struggled in the second half of the season. The bullpen they've been scrambling to just get innings out of whoever they possibly can, running 3 starters, 2 bullpen games out of 5. I mean, The Marlins really are right now. This team is the little engine that could at the moment, and they're doing it. And I think it's fun to watch. They've got 6 games against 2 teams that, quite frankly, they should beat. They should go 4-2 here, even with the injuries. There's not any excuses from that perspective. And let the chips fall where they may. And if they make the playoffs, I'll be here. If they don't make the playoffs, I'll be here with a retrospective on the season. But we will be following it um, live and up to date every Monday. Thank you guys so much for watching. We will see you guys next time on Gone Fishing. Hopefully, previewing a wild card matchup coming off of a successful regular season. So we will see you guys next time. Do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It helps grow the channel here, helps support what we do. Thank you guys so much, and we'll see you next time.